In a hushed courtroom, all eyes fixed on a brave 5-year-old girl named Lily Stevens as she walked toward the witness stand, hand tightly clasping the leash of Duke, a steadfast German shepherd marked by a single unforgettable scar. The atmosphere was thick with tension. Lily, the sole witness to a chilling abduction attempt, had not uttered a single word since that traumatic day. Yet, in that very moment as she sat down, her delicate fingers sent a secret signal only Duke could understand. Almost instantly, Duke's posture shifted. His ears pricked, muscles tensed, and a deep, resonant growl emerged that left even the seasoned judge Aaron Reynolds momentarily speechless. This was more than a simple reaction. It was a quiet act of loyalty and protection that would soon change the course of the case. Welcome to Acts of Kindness Stories, where courage, compassion, and the unbreakable bond between a child and her dog shine a light even in the darkest moments. Lily Stevens sat at the witness stand, her small fingers still trembling from the secret message she had sent to Duke moments before. The courtroom's tension was palpable, every breath heavy with the weight of a case that had already shaken many lives. Duke, a resolute German shepherd marked by a long, jagged scar, had reacted instantly to Lily's silent signal. His ears had perked up, muscles coiled, and a low, resonant growl had filled the silent chamber, an unmistakable warning that rippled through everyone present. As Judge Aaron Reynolds observed this extraordinary display, his seasoned eyes registered not just the routine proceedings of a trial, but a profound moment of connection between a child and her protector. In that fleeting instant, Duke had conveyed a message that transcended words, a message that would challenge the very narrative the defense had so carefully constructed. The defendant, Damien Hayes, sat impassively beside his attorney, Victor Lane, his composed exterior beginning to crumble under the scrutiny of Duke's unyielding stare. Melinda Collins, the determined prosecutor leading the case, had long argued that Lily's silence was not a sign of indifference but a powerful symptom of trauma. Diagnosed with selective mutism after witnessing a harrowing abduction attempt, Lily had endured a terrifying ordeal that few could comprehend. On that fateful day, as her parents, Olivia and Nathan Stevens, watched in helpless horror, a stranger in a dark van had approached their daughter with a dangerously warm smile and unsettling promises. The image of that man, the fleeting terror in Lily's eyes, had haunted every step of the investigation. In the days that followed, investigators meticulously pieced together evidence. Jacob Monroe, a veteran detective with decades of experience, noted that a pattern of abductions had surfaced, each incident eerily similar, each child lured with false promises of care. His gut instinct had told him that Damien Hayes was somehow connected to these mysterious disappearances. And yet, without Lily's voice, the trial had seemed to teeter on a knife's edge. It was Duke's reaction, sharp, instinctive, and filled with an emotion that no training could suppress, that became the catalyst for unraveling the tangled threads of the case. Inside the defense's chamber, Damien's facade of confidence began to crack. Victor Lane could see the change in his client's demeanor, a subtle tightening of his jaw, a fleeting glance that betrayed recognition, as if Duke's presence had stirred memories best left buried. Damien muttered to himself under his breath, "She knows me," a confession so quiet that it nearly went unnoticed. Meanwhile, Melinda Collins pushed forward with renewed determination. "This is not theatrics," she insisted, her voice steady as she argued that Duke's behavior was rooted in genuine recognition, a link between Damien and the sinister events of that day. Outside the courtroom, as the trial advanced, the investigation took a dramatic turn. A critical piece of forensic evidence, a set of soil samples collected from Damien's vehicle, had led the authorities to a remote, unoccupied cabin in the northern woods. Jacob Monroe and his team, accompanied by Duke, who had become an indispensable part of the operation, approached the secluded cabin with caution. The surrounding trees whispered secrets in the wind, and an eerie silence enveloped the area. Duke led the way, his senses acutely tuned to something hidden beneath the mundane. Inside the dilapidated cabin, the atmosphere was foreboding yet sparse. A single table, a worn cot, and scattered food cans told the story of transient occupation. However, near the back wall, a subtle irregularity in the wooden floor caught Monroe's attention. With measured precision, the officers pried open a loose board to reveal a narrow staircase descending into a hidden basement. There, in a dim corner illuminated by a single flickering light, they discovered evidence of unimaginable neglect. Small toys, a faded pink backpack, and the belongings of a lost child. Most shockingly, chained in a shadowed corner was a young girl, Sophia Turner, aged 8, whose gaunt face and tear-filled eyes bore silent testimony to months of suffering. In that moment, Duke's reaction was immediate. His body tensed, and he let out a plaintive whine, as if mourning the injustice inflicted upon another innocent soul. Monroe's voice broke the oppressive silence. "She's safe now." With swift action, the officers freed Sophia, wrapping her in a blanket of reassurance as they prepared to bring her to safety. The rescue, confirmed by the subsequent forensic match between soil samples and Damien's vehicle, added an explosive new dimension to the trial. Back in the courtroom, the discovery of Sophia Turner became a turning point. Melinda Collins, seizing the momentum, presented the forensic evidence alongside Sophia's rescue report. The evidence was damning. Damien Hayes' DNA on the chains, tire tracks matching those found near the cabin, and the undeniable link between his vehicle and the hidden basement where an abducted child was found. With each piece of evidence laid out, the jury's skepticism shifted into a palpable certainty that Damien had been orchestrating a series of abductions with chilling precision. Throughout the proceedings, Duke remained a silent but potent figure of truth. His every glance and subtle movement spoke volumes, reinforcing Lily's unspoken testimony. When Melinda Collins called for another moment of testimony from Lily, the child, though still restrained by her trauma, responded with a small, deliberate gesture. The same silent signal that had set Duke's instincts ablaze echoed once more in the courtroom. This time, even Damien's composed exterior faltered as Duke's unwavering focus locked onto him. A visible shudder passed through Damien, a fleeting admission that the secret he had hoped to bury was now laid bare before the entire court. As the hours unfolded, the trial's atmosphere grew increasingly charged. Every witness, every piece of evidence, and every reaction from Duke combined to create a narrative that was as compelling as it was heartbreaking. The courtroom had transformed from a place of legal formality into a stage where the battle between darkness and light was being fought in real time. The courage of a 5-year-old girl, the loyalty of her canine companion, and the relentless pursuit of justice by dedicated law enforcement had converged into a story that was far greater than any single individual could have anticipated. Even as the legal teams prepared for the next phase of the trial, questions still loomed. How had Duke, a retired K-9 with a scarred past, recognized Damien Hayes? What hidden connections bound Damien to the heinous string of abductions? And most importantly, how would Lily's brave, unspoken testimony, bolstered by Duke's instinctive responses, reshape the narrative that Damien had so carefully constructed? Each of these questions echoed through the halls of the courthouse, reverberating in the hearts of those who had witnessed the unfolding drama. The trial was no longer merely a legal proceeding. It had become a testament to the power of empathy, the resilience of the human spirit, and the extraordinary bond between a child and her loyal friend. In every whispered conversation, every determined glance from the prosecution, and every measured response from the defense, there was an undercurrent of hope. Hope that justice would prevail, and hope that even in the midst of darkness, kindness and truth would shine through. As the story continued to unravel within the walls of the courthouse, one thing remained abundantly clear. Lily Stevens and Duke, through their quiet yet powerful connection, had ignited a spark that could not be extinguished. Their courage and determination had not only challenged a well-orchestrated facade of innocence, but had also paved the way for a broader conversation about the healing power of compassion. In this unfolding saga of betrayal, recovery, and redemption, every detail mattered, and every act of kindness told a part of the story that would live on in the hearts of those who witnessed it. This is the story we share on Acts of Kindness Stories, a narrative that underscores the transformative impact of bravery and loyalty in the face of overwhelming adversity. Each chapter, each moment of silent communication between Lily and Duke, serves as a reminder that sometimes the most profound truths are spoken without words. In that defining moment, The courtroom fell into a reflective silence, a silence filled with the weight of truth and the promise of redemption. As Lily Stevens sat quietly with Duke at her side, the echoes of their bravery continued to ripple through every heart in the room. The revelations uncovered in that trial had transformed what began as a harrowing ordeal into a testament of resilience, compassion, and the extraordinary power of unspoken connections. Detective Jacob Monroe's meticulous investigation, the forensic breakthroughs, and Duke's unwavering loyalty had all converged to dismantle a sinister web of deception. Every piece of evidence, every guarded look from Damian Hayes, and every silent gesture from Lily reinforced a singular message: that even in our darkest moments, acts of kindness and courage can light the way to justice and healing. As the judge's gavel fell for the final time, sealing the fate of a man who had once hidden behind a mask of composure, a new chapter began for Lily and her family. A chapter defined not by fear, but by the hope of recovery and the promise of a brighter future. The courtroom wasn't just a place of judgment. It was a space where the collective spirit of empathy triumphed, where the bonds between a child and her loyal guardian proved that sometimes actions speak louder than words. Today, Lily's quiet strength and Duke's steadfast devotion remind us that healing is possible, and that even the smallest voices can bring about monumental change. Their story is a call to all of us to stand up against injustice, to cherish the bonds that unite us, and to always choose compassion in the face of adversity. If you found inspiration in this powerful journey of hope and recovery, please show your support. Like this video, share it with your friends, and let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you believe in the transformative power of kindness, help us reach our goal of 10,000 subscribers by joining our community at Acts of Kindness Stories. Together we can continue to spread stories that empower, educate, and uplift.